Hello friends, we are back on Olga is Cooking, and today I am making, in case you think that this has only become a breakfast show, we are skipping lunch, we're skipping dinner, we're sliding right into dessert or snack, and I am making probably the easiest brownie recipe you're ever going to find. It has 4 ingredients in it. That is right, 4 ingredients, and let's whip it up. The flavor is Nutella or a chocolate hazelnut spread. That's the base of this recipe. The second great thing about it is it doesn't need a mixer. So I like that, less cleanup. So let's start with cracking 2 eggs into our bowl. Again, we're gonna have room temperature eggs, room temperature everything when we bake and cook, because then we're not fighting with different temperatures of ingredients. Our ingredients are also not fighting with a hot oven. So if you put, cold milk, a cold egg in with flour and then mix it up and stick it in the oven, you don't really want that. So everything is room temperature. We're gonna whisk this until it's nice and frothy. Nice and frothy. Now we are going to add next 1.5 cups of Nutella. So you can either use name brand Nutella. A controversial fact about name brand Nutella is it does have palm oil. So if you are against palm oil, Kraft does make a palm oil free hazelnut chocolate spread. They can't use the word Nutella. So that's fine to use as well. So I have pre-measured 1 cup because I want to show you a trick for getting sticky ingredients out of a measuring cup with my 1/2 cup. So let me just take this out here. Okay, there's 1 cup of Nutella. Oh, so good. I don't know if you guys are big Nutella fans, but I can eat this stuff with a spoon. Okay, so here's 1/2 cup, 1/2 measuring cup, and I've got some spray oil. So whatever spray, olive oil, vegetable, whatever. So we're gonna spray our measuring cup. I'm gonna grab my spoon, and what the oil does is it allows your mixture, and you can, it's coconut oil, honey, peanut butter, anything kind of like glooby and liquidy with this type of consistency. You don't want it to stick, right? It's annoying. So here we go. It's come out of there pretty quickly, and just with 1 quick spoon, it's pretty clean. So it's a nice little trick to use when you're trying just to maximize all the ingredients, not get yourself kind of messy and dirty. But there's always some left on the spoon for licking. Do not worry about that. Okay, let's get rid of that. So now we really need to use some muscle here to whisk this pretty well. It's gonna take a bit of bicep action. Go, 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 Olga, go, Olga. And it's just glistening now. So the Nutella has mixed really well, chocolate hazelnut spread has mixed really well with our egg. Yeah, this looks great. You can see in there how great it is. It's kind of nice and liquidy. So that's 2 ingredients so far if you're counting. Nutella, eggs. 3rd ingredient, pinch of salt. Use kosher salt, sea salt. Pinch is great. And now our 4th ingredient, the last ingredient, is 1/3 cup of flour. So what I want to do now is I want to switch mixing utensils from our whisk to our spatula, and you'll see why in a second. So let's try to grab all this. Unfortunately, we cannot spray our whisk with cooking spray. So this is a little job and a half. I have seen those little gizmos they sell on Amazon that you put them on the edge of your whisk and then zoop them, and everything comes off. If anyone has actually tried and bought one of those, can you please put a note in the comments and let me know if it's worth the purchase? I'm very intrigued because I feel like I'm wasting a lot of batter here. Okay, 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour. When you bake, it's really important to sift, especially in a recipe like this, all recipes. You want things to be very smooth, and you want to mix the flour as minimally as possible so as not to overcomplicate and overstimulate your ingredients, that is why whisking is really important. Sifting is very important. So 1/3 of a cup of flour in our sifter. Couple of presses there. All gone, all done. And now what we're gonna do is just lightly swirl, fold in the flour. Schitt's Creek fans out there, which basically means just whirling it around. We're gonna pretend we're gonna do some folds. And we're only folding this as long as it takes to not see white anymore. So don't go to town on getting this mixture mixed. Just very lightly, very gently fold. You see kind of how fast I'm going compared to how I was whisking the eggs and the Nutella. Okay, so we are good to go. Our batter is glistening, it is smooth, looks pretty delicious. Again, 4 ingredients: eggs, salt, chocolate hazelnut spread, flour. Now, the debate always when you're baking, to nut or not to nut. I love nuts. You can add nuts anywhere. I'm not gonna have a problem. I'm not adding nuts to this recipe today. I have added nuts to this recipe in the past. I will add nuts to this recipe in the future. Just adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of crunch. I love it. I would recommend a softer nut with a soft and fudgy brownie, so a walnut or a pecan. Don't do almond, just too hard. I'm not a huge fan of raw hazelnuts. I certainly love it in the spread, but I don't really like to eat them per se. So I would stick with a walnut or a pecan. You're gonna chop them up into manageable pieces. You don't want them super, super tiny because they'll get lost in the brownie. You don't want them too big because it overpowers the taste of the brownie. So that's my feeling on nuts. So we've got our prepared 8x8. It's an 8x8 metal pan. I like using metal for baking because it maintains heat consistency and it speeds up our baking time. If you don't have a metal pan, again, baking is not a tragedy. You can certainly use ceramic or glass. You will have to extend your baking time a little bit and just keep an eye on what you're cooking. So in a metal pan, this recipe will bake for about 20 to 25 minutes at 375. My oven is already preheating. I'm gonna check this recipe after 20 minutes. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is I want the top to be crinkly, but I want the inside to be fudgy squishy. And because of the few ingredients in this recipe, remember, we don't have any baking soda or baking powder, no other active ingredient. These brownies aren't gonna rise a lot. They're gonna be pretty flat. So you do want to make sure that you're keeping an eye to make sure that they don't dry. So I'm gonna check them after 25 minutes. Sorry, 20, correction. I'm gonna check them after 20 minutes and I'm gonna show you what they look like after 20 minutes. Deal? Deal, I can't wait. So there we go. Easy. We're gonna call them Nutella brownies. You can call them chocolate hazelnut spread brownies or the easiest brownies you'll ever make. Yeah, see you when they're done. Thanks everybody. See like ya.